There's going to be a judging panel of BCB members. That's basically how they're going to...
Right.
Kazakhstan already has its own national anthem, of course. What happened when it was played at the opening of a skiing competition in the north of the country?
It was the wrong one. They played the national anthem from Borat.
Oh, no. This is yet another Kazakh mix-up. Enjoy. Look at this.
Лыжного вида спорта Костанайской области объявляю открытым. Сомнение на флаг Республики Казахстан. Звучит гимн Республики Казахстан.
Yeah, that's right. They played Ricky Martin's Livin' La Vida Loca in by mistake. What should now not happen to people who eat too much cheese, according to the National Institute for Health and Clinical Excellence?
Stand directly behind them?
No, nice...
Because the angle of trajectory.
Yeah.
Very intense. I don't know if you know much about science.
There's loads of it around, if you look.
Yeah.
Lots of science out there.
We are not to call them obese.
Oh, right, no, we're meant to call them people with weight issues.
Yeah, obese has been considered unhelpful and derogatory. So doctors instead, what are they saying we should say?
Fatty. Don't call people morbidly obese, say, hi, fatso. It'll make them feel much better. It's less clinical, it's more friendly. Howdy, fat boy.
If somebody walks in that's quite big, you just say, excuse me, one at a time, please.
This is the competition to write a national anthem for cheddar. As a cheesemaker himself, Blur's Alex James is the face of the cheddar competition. Next year, there will be a similar contest featuring George Michael and his favourite cheese, cottage. Fingers on buzzers, teams. Here is your next spinning picture.
That's Mr.
Yes.
Cameron, between Andy Coulson and Rebecca Brooks, who are both appearing at the Leveson Inquiry this week.
Yep, it is the continuing saga of the Leveson Inquiry.
He's not looking very happy, is he?
Not there, no.
No, I suppose being the only Prime Minister who's had his Director of Communications and best friend arrested by the police must be a bit depressing.
And actually, I think at the end of the day, it's been a bit of a damp squid. Everyone's been very disappointed.
Yeah, we're waiting for tomorrow, though.
Yeah.
Because then we get the text that Dave sent to Rebecca. How many kisses on the end, do you think? Love you. Lol.
Anything else?
It's all going to be there.
God save our favourite cheese. We get down on our knees. God save our cheese. We love you forever, 'cause you're a piece of cheddar.
Where do I send the invoice? Just shows you how much I've been paying attention to the last...
And did those feet in ancient times smell slightly of the product we're trying to sell?
Is there anything else from the Leveson Inquiry, Ian, that we haven't...
I don't think they sang Jerusalem there.
What Andy Coulson did say today, which was interesting, was that... And I used to listen to Twitter. I haven't actually seen it because I was working.
Can I just quibble with the fact if you're reading Twitter, you're not technically working, are you? Just because you're not watching the Leveson Inquiry, the fact you're reading tweets doesn't count as parliamentary work, does it?
Miss Nadine.
Yes.
I don't think he like you much. I'm trying too hard.
Do you not like me much?
I think that's an interesting question.
I think you're right.
No, of course I do. I'm just trying to make things clear, because you and the Prime Minister, you just don't get on, do you?
He called me his close friend in the chamber this week. As a person, you know, as an individual, he's a really nice man.
Well, but just as a Prime Minister, you think he's a bit pants?
Well, you said that. I couldn't possibly.
Are these exploding pants or just normal?
Yes, this is the ongoing Leveson Inquiry. Andy Coulson faced the Leveson Inquiry this week. Before giving evidence, he had to swear an oath holding a Bible, which was still showing the burn marks from where Rupert Murdoch had touched it. Fingers on buzzers, teams. Ian and Nadine.
That's a twister in Bicester.
That's exactly right.
Which is a song from the Bicester Twister board.
Yeah, the papers were filled with horrific tales of the destructive force of,
what did it do?
nature. Well, did you see any of the individual stories?
No, let's see
Well,
it.
according to Norman Ashworth, quoted in the Mail, one lady told me the round table and 4 chairs in her garden were blown 10 feet across the garden. While in Whitney, filmgoers were evacuated after a hailstorm set off the alarms at the Cineworld complex. Surely the most dramatic came from Whitney resident Richard Glazer, who heroically drove straight through the storm. As we drove into it, the trees were blowing left to right, but as we got through it, they were blowing the other way. But is the Bicester Twister an isolated incident, do you imagine?
Yes.
I say no.
2 weeks ago, Rugby and Halstead were both victims of suspected tornadoes, but they don't rhyme, so
That's
so
right.
nobody seemed very interested. Beryl Clark of Wentworth Road lived to tell the tale from Rugby, though. Next door's got a trampoline outside their dining room, and I don't know where it's come from. Argos, I'd imagine. Speaking of the weather, did anyone see the BBC's new weatherman?
Yes, Prince Charles.
Yeah, do you want to have a look at that?
Yeah.
This afternoon it'll be cold, wet and windy across most of Scotland. We're under the influence of low pressure.
The weather front pushing northwards is bringing cloud and outbreaks of rain. What a surprise.
It must have been tempting to tamper with the autocue, mustn't it? You're saying, the Queen's going to be raining for as long as possible.
I bet I know what happened, too. They was just on a day of just being silly and doing their thing, going around the city, and they were driving past the studio, and she said, "Oh, Charles, I want to do the weather. I always have." And he says, "Okay." And she says, "Can we do it? Can we do it?" And he says, "I'm the prince." I believe that's what happened.
This is the tornado which hit the town of Bicester in Oxfordshire this week. Areas hit include Prime Minister David Cameron's hometown of Whitney. Although when the skies went dark, locals just assumed Rupert Murdoch was popping round for another visit. The Daily Mail described the scenes of devastation wrought by the tornado. One lady's round table and 4 chairs were blown 10 feet across her garden. So if the international community are watching, please, please donate whatever you can. Time now for the odd one out round.
Yes.
Paul and Reg, your 4 are Ed Miliband,
Yep.
Tweedy's pie-making machine, Blackburn Rovers versus Wigan Athletic, and the 22-17 from Ashford International to Maidstone East.
So it must be something about things not being what they're pretending to be. So Blackburn versus Wigan on close scrutiny turned out to be 2 flies on a piece of marzipan. The 11:47 train to Maidstone was in fact discovered to be a bowl of soup from 1946.
It's a train in Britain. I'm gonna assume it's late. And then the pie machine don't seem to be nobody making pies. And the 2 dudes chasing the football, Wigan and Blackburn, they kind of like football entities, but not really.
You know, I thought my answer was pretty awful.
But you ain't heard the last part, though.
Oh, you're going to salvage it.
I mean, I know,
the last bit, yeah. The last bit is what?
Yeah,
go on,
shit,
yeah.
you know, Cthulhu-lated my momentum, though, you know what I'm saying? Your turn.
The answer is they've all been interrupted by a chicken.
Yes.
Except for Ed Miliband, whose walkabout was interrupted by an egg this week. Do you want to have a look at that?
Yes.
We've also got people, I think, who thought... Sorry about that. Yeah. Obviously not one of my fans. No.
Not one of my fans. You're not really narrowing it down for the police. Which is, in fact, the perfect excuse for us to play this old clip of a man who claims he can jump on an egg without breaking it.
We bring you the unique Mr. Tony McCabe, a man who claims he can jump on hen's eggs and human noses without breaking them.
Skim them, then.
Look at where the thick legs come in.
Yeah. You're too high. Up with it. How's it click? Oh, there we are.
That's it, is it?
Oh, yeah, I felt it click, yeah.
Oh, that is the jumping on the eggs.
Oh, yes, it's definitely been jumped on that egg.
While you were putting man on the moon, that's what we were doing.